The USFL Gambling Podcast Week 8 preview, picks, and DFS episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. Edge Boost enables you to double your bet with zero interest. Yes, no interest. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to get started today. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
This is Jerry Glanville, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother.
Yes. Woo! God damn it. I played the wrong theme song. Let's play. Let's start it over right now. I've been doing so many podcasts. Hang on.
Football is a unique American experience. A game described by one turn-of-the-century critic as crude and barbaric, with little chance of survival. But survive it did.
I don't give a damn who you are. It's America, Jack. You know how to play British hard-nosed football? I don't get it.
Being played in the United States Football League.
Oh my God, the quarterback is toast.
We sometimes forget that football, being the consummate team sport, is a great deal more successful when you do play as a unit and don't rely on individual talent. Frankly, I'm impressed with the USFL.
America, this league is good for America, and football is a sport that is made for television.
That is football.
I'm like, spring football is going to work in America.
You play to win the game. And now it is time for our USFL report.
Yes. We are back on the USFL Gambling Podcast. And I have been known to be a fucking idiot plenty of times in my life. And look, if you're getting this on YouTube, you're getting the authentic side where I played the wrong theme song. That's fair. All right. That's fair. And look, you might be wondering just who the hell you're listening to. Well, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. I would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
The United States Football League Week 8, the road to the Freedom Cup continues. What is not to like about life? You know, you got this United States Football League going. It's out there. You know, you got no dome games this weekend. It's a beautiful thing. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh!
Let's go. Let's get it going. We got the Tecmo Super Bowl music flying. All right. And this guy, he's a modern day flying Brian. All right.
We need to get Brewdog, by the way, to get to make a USFL version of
already out there in the universe from the 80s though. From the 80s, you can do that.
I hear flying Brian Tillman.
That's a reference.
That is a Flying Brian reference. He is they call him the Flying Brian of the United States Football League. Give it up for third man in the booth, the DFS god himself. We invite you to come play USFL DFS with us. Give it up for rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, tobacco road living, the free lack giving, farmer former Herndon Basketball League MVP. Give it up for NC Nick in the place to be. Oh, he's got the corona. He's got the corona. He's at a hotel.
Not the virus.
Yeah. That you know of. But here we are, guys. You excited? We're 3 weeks away from the United States Football League playoffs. And here we are. I just feel like, well, what did we learn from last week that we know nothing still? Or I mean, I hit on my Michigan Panthers money line play, but I went 2-2, but I hit on my money line play. So I actually made a tiny bit of money, but not really killing it. Patty C, I think we all agree that the Stallions are the best team in the league, and that seems to be accurate still after last week.
Here's what we know.
What do we know?
We know Philadelphia is won a game by 3 points, then a game by 4 points, and then a game by 6 points. They are figuring it out slowly. Bart Andrews is getting this thing in gear.
It's his hair. Bart Andrews' hair is incredible. All right, best coach hair. Yeah, best coach hair out there, if I may say so. NC Nick, what have we learned about the United? What have you changed? Have you learned anything in the past week in the United States Football League?
Well, look, I mean, 2 weeks ago, Colby went 0-4. And
I was not on U.S. soil.
I only say that because this past week I went 0-4 ATS. Now I feel robbed because I thought my gamblers play was right there for the taking. They were up brutal. 4, laying either 3 or 3.5, wherever you got it, and they let that long pass. Don't even get me started on that
like
play.
A 10-yard pass, and he breaks it for 80 yards. Just terrible tackling.
Right, and then if you want to talk about Stallions Breakers, where I was on the Breakers, I mean, you could argue that the Breakers controlled that game as far as time of possession and total yardage per play, but really,
they never led. They led 3-0, and they were losing the rest of the game.
Well, I mean, look, there's no way to skirt this. I had an awful week, and I'm ready to bounce back. That's all I gotta say.
Ready to bounce back, and look, shout out RJ Young tweeted this one here. He said it was a wild USFL stat. 38% of kickoffs were returned in the National Football League a year ago. Right now, the USFL has 93.5% of kickoffs have been returned this year, including 3 for touchdowns. This is the best kickoff in all of pro football.
And it's playing a major factor in these games. These games are, look, no team is crushing it this year. No team is sucking ass. There's not a whole lot of difference between these teams. 1 or 2 big returns can really make a major impact on the game.
Yeah, and that stat doesn't include the Derek Dillon 109-yard catch return or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Field goal return.
Yeah. So the kick return way better than the XFL, if I may say so. And folks, look, before we get into handicapping these games, I want to tell you that the USFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Edge Boost. Yes, Edge Boost is the world's first bet now, pay later Visa card. Edge currently offers up to $2,500 in betting advances, which can be an extremely valuable tool if you use it correctly. I can guarantee you this: the OG USFL could have used a little Edge Boost to keep that thing alive. All right. Hello. Imagine what you can do with an increased bankroll. You can get down on some of your favorite futures without tying up your bankroll. You know, you're not gonna have the wife say, "Hey, what is this transaction? Get out of here! Go incognito, baby." Double down on maybe a favorite bet you like, or maybe middle, or I don't know, maybe you like to hedge, even though that's kind of for pussies. But look, Edge Boost isn't some loan shark trying to bust your ass. You know, got to come home with a broken arm and a sling. Explain to your wife that you fell off a fucking roof or something. I don't know, but you don't got to do that, because guess what? 0% interest is charged. All right. Ooh. 0. This is fantastic. All right. So support SGPN and grow your bankroll by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to sign up. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge. Must be 21 years or older to use. Problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. We are back on the USFL Gambling Podcast. Power rankings. We all have the Stallions 1, correct?
Correct.
Yes, obviously.
Now I'm very eager to hear you guys. Second best team in the league, Patty C, fire.
My rankings haven't changed. I feel pretty confident that I made the right play last week. Yeah, yes is the answer. They're the second ranked team in the South, which automatically should qualify them as the second ranked team in the league. Because
is he's incredible, but that Showboats offense still sucks ass. They were so lucky to win that game.
Man, you can't give Todd Haley credit if his life depends on it.
He's not good on offense. That team sucks on offense.
They are coming around. They're getting better.
I've gotten better. Dude, Cole Kelly was 12 of 24, 50% completion percentage for 146 yards, 6 yards of completion, 2 touchdowns, an interception, and a fumble. Look, this team sucks. I don't understand. Their defense is really good. All right. I'll give them credit. If it wasn't for Derek Dillon, you son of a gun, breaking a 64-yarder on what should have been an 11-yard completion, this team would have lost. They got goose egg the second half pretty much. They got a field goal because of a turnover. Are you sure you feel like they're for sure the second best team in this league?
They find a way to get it done. 4 straight wins here? That's most in the league.
Team in the league.
Right? And look, Cole Kelly has only thrown for over 200 twice, but that doesn't matter because they are a balanced team. Vinny Papali, maybe the premier possession receiver in the USFL. Is that an accurate statement?
Stop
Who else
it.
is in that conversation? Bailey Gaither?
I mean, I'll put Sage Surratt.
Yeah, I guess
he's a tight end. He's on a possession wide receiver.
Oh, come on. He was a wide out.
He'll go over the middle and take a lick and keep on ticking, baby. And then you got Dillon, who's explosive, as we all saw. Look, you got a couple weapons. You find wherever the weakness is in the defense, and you can exploit it. It doesn't have to be fancy, Colby. It just has to work.
The most impressive thing about last week is that they really shut down Mark Thompson in the Gamblers rushing game. Like, Mark Thompson might have scored 2 touchdowns, but he only ran for less than 50 yards.
They had 12 bat downs at the line of scrimmage against Kenji Bahar. 12.
Dude, that was one of the most frustrating games. Don't get me started. It was so awful. It's like, come on, man. But that, you have to credit that to coaching.
And John Atkins. Yeah. I mean, if you have if you got Reggie White, give that guy some credit.
Right. And overall, that we have to start appreciating results rather than projections. Because our projections, as far as who we think has more talent, that's not winning. So it doesn't matter. So eventually we have to give them credit. So I'm with Patty. They're my second best team here. They are.
They're the worst team. I know, but they're all gimmicks. But
who cares? They're winning.
They're the worst team in the league in runs per yards per rush, right? At the worst team in the whole league. And Patty C just touched on it. They've only thrown for 200 yards, more than 200 yards twice.
They've only outscored their opponents by 3 points on the season. So.
I mean, look, as much as I think it's phony, as much as I'm not buying it, who are you buying?
I'm buying New Orleans is better.
New Orleans hasn't won a game in 4 weeks.
You just said they should have beat Birmingham.
But it doesn't matter. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. If you don't do it, eventually, like I'll give you a pass for a couple weeks. If I think you're the better team and just the ball doesn't bounce your way for a couple weeks, okay. But once we get into 3 or 4 weeks, then eventually you're not the better team because you're not winning.
Dude, I can go one by one. Last week, a 10-yard pass or 11-yard pass breaks for 60. The week before, Derek Dillon returns a kick, 99 yards, right? Each week they have gotten a phony win. All right.
Look, I agree, but they're winning, and you're going to pick a team that's not winning. So who's your second place team?
The Philadelphia Stars.
Well, they won 2 weeks in a row without scoring an offensive touchdown.
But their kicker's amazing. He's the MVP of the league. He's Mark Mosley 2.0 in my mind.
Colby just takes the mirror image of Memphis in the North in Philadelphia and says Memphis can't be the second best, but Philly is. Makes sense.
You know why?
It's almost like he's planted his flag and he's unwilling to change.
Well, no, I'm willing to acknowledge that last year Philadelphia almost damn near won the Freedom Cup. All right. And Bart Andrus knows a thing or two about football. All right.
About a thing or two.
Yes. And you can talk all the shit you want, but the Stars are playing good ball right now. And that defense making key turnovers. They had 347 yards of offense last week against the Pittsburgh Maulers, which was arguably the best defense in the league. That's a lot of yards in the USFL. All right. 6.1 yards per play. I see big time improvement in this Philadelphia Stars team when you mix Case Cookus and Colburn with that sweet ass Aguilar kicker. Aguilar's making 57-yard field goals like they're 28 yarders. All right, this guy's incredible.
The USFL, that is huge right now. To have that's invaluable in these nip tuck games.
He is in the NFL.
He should be. He should be. Matt Colburn's emergence is also a huge factor that makes you gotta believe that maybe they're figuring it out this year.
And Nick, do I need to remind you that the Philadelphia Stars went into the Liberty Bowl, and beat the Memphis Showboats?
Yeah, I mean, what week? What week was that?
That was week 1 when the Stars were terrible, and they still won.
So week 1 has absolutely no bearing on week 8. We've seen this. This season has been crazy because every week it's completely different. So look, I like what the Stars are doing. Yes, they're getting the ground game going. We thought the defense was getting better, but then they just win a game in the 30s. So I'm still concerned about the Stars, just like you're concerned about the Showboats.
No, but they have Bart Andrus, who's proven to be a winner. Case Cookus is the difference maker here. And when you add in the kicker, that shows me offensive. I can trust that offense a little more. Now, obviously, the Showboats defense is better than the Stars defense, but I think the Stars are a better team all around.
Well, let me say,
where did you have the Stars last week?
That's good.
I think like 6. I think.
See, that's what's hilarious.
No, maybe 5. I don't know, somewhere around there.
It doesn't really matter. Not second.
It's a very
I was impressed.
situation.
Honestly, if the Stars can fix their special teams, you said they gave up 30. Half of that was all the special teams with the Maulers.
Part of that is that part of it being in the North, because I'm pretty sure the South is better than the North. Again.
Well, we'll get to our picks, but watch out, Stars coming along.
Let me say this: on the flip side of us giving Colby a hard time for just taking the Stars and not giving Memphis credit, we should take a little bit of a hard time because the Stars have won 3 in a row.
That's what I'm saying.
They're winning.
The Showboats have won 1 more game in a row, and there's a head-to-head here where the Stars beat them.
That head-to-head was a long time
You guys
ago.
are calling me the maniac here. You're talking about 1 more win. All right, 1 more win. Okay, watch out. The Stars are coming.
All right. So hold on. So let's regroup here. So we all have the Stallions as 1. Patty C and I have the Showboats as 2. You have the Stars as 2. Who
Stars
do you have as 3,
is 2.
Colby?
3, I got the Breakers.
Really? The Breakers? What have they done lately? They can't win.
I trust their offense more than the Showboats. The Showboats, I just don't think they can. Their offense can't create scores, whereas I feel like the Breakers can.
So my number 3 is the Gamblers, because they're a last minute 60-yard pass away from winning 5 in a row.
They had 12 bat downs and they still threw 48 passes. They're like, hey, let's bat down again. Let's run it again.
But they made a valiant comeback when it mattered, and they were in a position to win that game, which would have been their 5th win in a row. If it wasn't for a play where that cornerback did absolutely fucking nothing, they would have won 5 in a row here. So,
well, the safety didn't wrap up either.
True. Yeah. Cornerback is number 1 to blame. Well, the whole secondary is awful for not doing anything on that play. They did nothing on that play.
That was bad.
Yeah, but that's a pretty bad sign when they're doing nothing with like 40 seconds left in the game.
So my ranking is Stallions, Showboats, Gamblers, Stars.
Wow. Well, I go Stallions, Stars, Breakers, Gamblers.
Then fucking Memphis after all that.
Yep.
Presumably. Wow.
Colby has shown no love to Memphis.
Their offense is horrible.
It doesn't matter. They're winning.
The same disrespect that Patty C shows the Stars He says, "Oh, they're a soft team, right?" But their offense has been flying lately. All right, that special teams with that kicker, that ace they got there.
Well, let me tell you this: they got the third best. Showboats have the third best scoring defense in the league.
Yeah.
And look, I really find I'm going with Colby here. I'm going Breakers number 3. And it's because if you look at Thompson, he's getting in the end zone, but teams have figured out that all you have to do is stop the run against them. Kenji Bahar isn't going to rip you a new a-hole. So
what the fuck are the Breakers doing for you guys to rank them that high?
Number 1 passing offense in the league.
Yeah, they have McLeod Bethel Thompson and Wes Hills.
Yeah, buddy. They look really good the first 4 weeks of the year.
Okay, but how about this?
And a lot of that stats is built on those 4 weeks where they look really good. What have they done? What have they done lately?
Check this out. They lead the passing yards in this league per game by about 40 yards per game. So I trust that statistic. You know, I can count on it. The Showboats have the worst rushing attack in the league and the 6th best passing offense in the league. What is good about this offense? How do you trust this over the long haul here?
Well, here's what I do know. Let's go back to the Breakers. Yes, I have concerns about that offense for sure.
Because the Stars have the number 2 passing offense in the league, by the way.
But the Breakers they've been in the red zone 9 times in their last 3 games and have scored 3 touchdowns.
That's a concern. They're going to fix it, though.
Are they? You mentioned last week, can DiFilippo make adjustments on the fly? We haven't seen it yet.
All I can tell you is this. Let's look at the...
And don't let me talk about turnovers. Their turnovers have been awful lately.
Look,
I trust
that roster. I trust Jonathan Adams, Johnny Dixon, Sage Surratt.
That's what I said last week, and yet again they lost and didn't cover again.
Well, I took the Stallions last week.
At some point,
it was the best team in the league. We just said it was the best team in the league,
not by that wide of a margin.
That was a 4-point game.
They're only the best team in the league because everybody else is severely flawed.
Can I read you this? The top 8 passing offenses in the league: Breakers 1, Stars 2, Stallions 3. Panthers 4, Gamblers 5. The Gamblers, Patty C's talking about their shitty passing offense. It's still better than Showboats. All right. Then the Generals 7, the Maulers 8. And by the way, the Showboats, it's not like they're that far ahead of the rest. All right. Now, as far as the Generals and Maulers, no, the Maulers they are, but the Generals, it's actually somewhat close. Then you look at the rushing. Like I mentioned, the Showboats are the worst rushing team in the league. As yards per rush, you know what I mean? So they're a terrible team. They average 75 yards. I don't understand. Carnell Lake, honestly, he should be an MVP running. Right? It should be Aguilar. What's the defensive lineman that batted the ball down 75 times? Looked like Wilt Chamberlain.
Atkins.
Yeah, John Atkins, Aguilar, and McGough. As a 4th one, I guess we put in Mark Thompson. Those should be your MVP candidates.
Fair.
Well, all right. Shout out to Nicholas Greenwald in the chat. He says, "Finally caught you boys live." Nicholas, tell me who your team is in the USFL.
Yeah, give me your top
input here.
Yeah, give me your top 3, Nicholas. Let's go. But I'm curious because we all had the Michigan Panthers 8, even though I was paranoid and I took them on the money line because I was like, Michigan moves the ball. I just mentioned the stats right there. They're the 4th best passing team in the league, and they're the 5th best rushing team. They're actually like pretty balanced. They're a pretty balanced team. So I think the Maulers are the worst team in the league, which is hilarious because two weeks ago I thought they were the 2nd best team in the league.
Well, the Panthers still, despite being 3-4, have the worst scoring differential in the league. The Maulers is only slightly better. The Stars is only slightly better as well. So
that's because they got blown out once. If you get blown out once,
like I don't those like year-long stats take with a grain of salt because I think week 8 is so much different than week 1 or week 2.
Yeah, but the Stars are red hot. Besides your Showboats, who only have a one win more in a row, the Stars, the 2 hottest teams in the league are the Showboats and the Stars.
Right, but you realize the Gamblers could be on a 5-game win streak if it wasn't for that fluky long pass play to Derek Dillon.
True, but I also realized that they had 12 bat downs.
That was frustrating.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's what I want.
Where are we at here? Are we at? So do we have a top 4 consensus?
Patty C, who's your 4th?
Let me take a peek at that. I am gonna go with. I'm gonna go Gamblers over Stars. I'm gonna go Gamblers over Stars at the.
Where do you have the Stars? 5th?
I have my 5th.
So I'm not a Breakers. You have the Breakers.
Absurd.
The Breakers have lost what 3 or 4 in a row now, and you have a team that you have 2 teams that have won 3 or 4 in a row, and yet you have the Breakers above them.
I have the Breakers above the Showboats, so I don't know. I guess
that's ridiculous. So I don't know. We're all over the board here.
All right, power rankings done. No, we have the Maulers as the worst team. Patty C, who's your worst team?
I think I'm gonna go Maulers too, just because that offense continues to be so anemic. Like,
all right, Generals at 7.
Yes.
Yeah.
Panthers at 6.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm gonna put Panthers at 6. The whole league is so close, but there's definitely like
true
2 tiers. There's 5 teams that are kind of in the same. I mean, no, there's 3 tiers. There's Birmingham all by itself, right? And then there's,
but they're not that high above everybody else.
They're not that high, but they are clearly above. You know, even if it's just a one half of a stratosphere, they're above the next 4. And then the bottom 3 are all kind of in the same grouping too. I mean, I was just looking at New Orleans stats. 7 of their games have been decided by 1 touchdown or less.
That's what I'm saying. They're right there. They're right there. And Nicholas in the chats, he's agreeing with Patty C. Memphis and Birmingham ahead of everyone else.
Hello.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see how this play out. It's going to be hilarious when Memphis is watching the play the playoffs at home after they put up a solid $110 this weekend. All right, look, before we get to picking games, shout out to GBO Farms. It's cracking me up. He's a big Showboats guy too. You got to remember, GBO Farms, Tennessee guy. All right, through and through. All right, he's convinced Showboats are the best team in the league. They're red hot. All right. He says, they should go after who was that quarterback that was on the Steelers? No, the Tennessee quarterback that was on the Steelers. Not Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo Bay should be in this league though. No, recently on the Steelers. Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs. There we go. Yeah.
The guy with no eyebrows.
Yeah. You're just coming at this guy. He's catching strays. Look, folks, before we get to handicapping each one of the 4 sweet USFL games we got this weekend, I want to tell you that the USFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by the NBA Finals and Stanley Cup Final contest that we got going on. Yes, we've got 2 more free contests for the Stanley Cup and not plural and the NBA Finals. Enter exclusively on the SGPN app. I can't fucking talk right now. $100 gift card to the winner for free. We're not trying to take your money. The app is free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. So grab that thing today and let it ride. You will also get access to all of our USFL picks. All right, guys, let's get into this. Let's get into this because Josh Dobbs played well for the Titans last year, says GBO Farms. Once again, Tennessee through and through. Saturday. Gamblers, Maulers, Canton, Ohio. NC Nick, any chance you're going to be there?
No, not a chance. Right now, I'm in a hotel in the middle of nowhere, Virginia. So I will be making myself, back to North Carolina. So no.
89 degrees they're calling for in Canton, Ohio this weekend. Clear, very clear.
Nice. Sounds nice.
I mean, this line, I'm seeing the Gamblers -3, the over-unders at 43. This is an interesting matchup because I do think the Maulers can put the kibosh on Mark Thompson. Then I think it's interesting. Kenji Bahar throw a forward pass that doesn't get batted down. You know what? I got an upset. No, gosh.
I mean, your power rankings just had the Maulers last and the Gamblers at what?
But this is like a perfect matchup where I feel like the strength of the Gamblers is negated by the strength of the Maulers.
But you said it last week with the Stars played the Maulers.
I'm getting a field goal. Give me the Maulers. Give me the Maulers.
I mean, lately the dogs have been cashing. I mean, that's definitely been the case. There's no doubt about it. The dogs have been cashing, but give me Houston. I still think Houston's a better team. Just look at my power rankings. What
about that over under? What 43? I'm on the under.
I'm on the under.
This is a 16-9 game.
Look, if my power rankings have Houston at 3 and the Maulers at 8, of course I have to lay 3 points.
You're really putting a lot of stock in those power rankings. I can't put any stock in my power rankings because 2 weeks ago I did have the Maulers in second place. All right.
And to answer GBO Farms, dude, I got Hilton points, man. My company prefers Hilton, so I stay at the Hiltons.
Dashiz in the chat says, "Can USFL games be a trap? How are showboats not favored?" We're gonna get to that because I completely agree with you there.
That line stinks.
Yes. I am actually going to take the Maulers and the under. Patty C, what are you doing here in Canton?
I'm on Houston and the under. I just don't believe Pittsburgh's offense is going to generate anything. I agree with what you're saying, though. I think they have the kind of defense that will probably neutralize both Thompson and Bahar. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, 13-7. Houston.
That's really low scoring.
That game is on USA.
Pittsburgh will be a henny punt return.
That game is on USA Network, 9:00 on the West, noon on the East. But the big one on NBC at noon on the West, 3 Eastern. Rematch of the Freedom Cup last year. Bring your Freedom fries.
Love it.
Yeah,
Philadelphia Stars taking on the Birmingham Stallions. And one thing I know, Bart Andrews don't put up with bullshit. All right. He realizes he was that close before, Case Cookus got injured. And he had to bring in KJ Costello. That was a bad plan, right? To have KJ Costello as a back. I'm joking. But look, 6.5, 6, whatever you see in this number. I think I see it at flat 6 right now, but I saw it at 6.5 yesterday. Guys,
it's not an easy play.
The Stars are going to cover this, and I even think they might be a live dog. The totals of 46. I do like the over. And when I see the Stars at a nice plus 190, jump on it. NC Nick, what are you doing in Birmingham?
You have to, man. Birmingham, like I said, they may be the top team, but it's not by that wide of a margin. So they are due for a lackluster game, and the Stars are going to just way too many points here. And that's why it also makes sense for a money line play. Give me the points. Give me Stars money line. I'm going to take the under, though. I think it's a little bit lower scoring than you think.
Well, what's funny is if you're trusting your power rankings, how you taking the Stars to win? Me, I have the Stars number 2, so it's logical to think that they could beat the top team. You have them at like number 6 or whatever the fuck it was.
I had them at 4. I have them at 4. Okay, so I mean, look, dude, it just depends week to week. Just because you're the top team doesn't mean you're going to win every game.
Yeah. Patty C, what are you doing in Birmingham? You riding the Stallions?
What?
Didn't you used to go to? Didn't you used to go to a bar in West LA, the Stallion Bar?
Oh yeah. It's that
was a pretty funny bit that I heard on the main show.
Yeah.
I don't know if Patty's heard it yet, but
I haven't heard it yet.
Patty C was the one that told me that there's a USFL bar in LA.
There is.
He said it's a Birmingham Stallions bar,
so that
and there was
was
a
your
question.
Source.
Yeah,
I was thinking this was a West Hollywood reference.
No, that's what that's what a listener confused that as. He said, "Wait, is it a USFL one or is it something else?" and I said, "You know what? I need to ask Patty C that." But Patty C, what are you doing here in Birmingham?
Look, the reality is going to come around for Philadelphia here when they're playing a truly elite team in Birmingham. Let me reiterate to you some of the wins they've had. A 17-point wins against New Jersey, a 40-point win against Memphis.
Against your number 2 team.
40. Yeah, that's why they're my number 1 team.
Long time ago.
That's right. Well, you know what makes sense? When the number 1 team beats the number 2 team. And that's what happened. So I don't feel so bad about that. But let me tell you this, even if it wasn't an absolute ass kicking. Look, I think it's going to be close. Philadelphia is playing well enough, and most games in this league are pretty tight. So I don't feel great about it. I'll say that much. But I do like the over. I agree with you on that.
I want to talk hypothetically here. If the Stars beat the Stallions, where are you going to have them in the power rankings next week? They're going to be number 5 for you, right?
They're going to go down.
Yeah, they're gonna be number 7.
Well, the offense didn't look that impressive.
Yeah. Case Cookus lost his wedding ring.
They got out yardage by the Stallions. So,
guys, Patty, see you on the over or the under there at 40. Yeah, 46.
This is one week where I feel like the overs are mostly the strong play here. 3 out of 4, I'm going over.
I like it. All right, let's hop into Sunday's action where Patty C's star-studded Memphis Showboats are heading to Canton, Ohio. Take on the New Jersey Generals, who signed Eric Barriere. Remember, DeAndre Johnson got dinged up. Kyle Laletta Cheese probably still going to start, but they did sign Eric Barriere, who started a game or two with the Michigan Panthers a season ago. And this is the one. Let's go back to the chat because the shiz brings up a great point. And I was on the main show talking about this one. This line makes absolutely no sense. Even with this Vegas knows the Showboats are shit because how is New Jersey laying 2? First off, New Jersey plays. They don't really have a home environment. Like that's another thing.
Nobody has a home environment.
No, Nick, you don't find it ironic that the 3 of the 4 teams in the playoffs, like if the season ended today, Birmingham, home environment, Memphis, home environment, Michigan, home environment. And then you have Philadelphia, who's the one team that doesn't have a home environment somehow in there. But
is it a home environment or is it lack of travel?
Maybe Birmingham actually has a crowd, dude. Yeah. Birmingham actually has a crowd.
A little bit. It's not like it's a crowd that's going to disrupt the other team's offense.
Well, sometimes a little bit of a crowd take it a long way, buddy. All right. Okay. Anyway, this line doesn't make any sense, and that is why I'm all over the Generals -2 because I've been saying this cha-cha-cha offense with that super long lawn chair, Cole Kelly, right? It ain't gonna fly. All right. Kyle Laletta Cheese gets his first starting win as quarterback of the New Jersey Generals. I'm laying the 2. God. And I'm also on the under. I think it's a 21 to 17 game, but Generals get it done.
Well, Generals do have the lowest scoring defense in the league. So
he said Nick. So
sorry.
Okay. No. So this game is a perfect example of how bunched my power rankings are because Colby, I completely agree with you. This line stinks to high heaven. It opened up at New Jersey -1. So money has come in on the Generals to go up to -2. And I had the Generals at 7th, and I had the Showboats at 2. But I'm going to lay the points because the line does stink, and because there has to be some regression here eventually. Yes. Look, yes. I know I said the exact opposite during my power rankings, but I think power rankings can be different because everybody is so close here.
Yeah,
and there has to be a team that has lost 4 in a row compared to a team that's won 4 in a row. And I think the team that has won 4 in a row, the ball's been bouncing right in their direction. And you know what? They might not have the edge on their shoulder anymore, or the chip on their shoulder, whatever you want to call it. The team that has lost 4 in a row that needs this win desperately to even try to stay in the playoff race.
I think what you were trying to.
That's why I'm going to take the Generals.
Yeah, what you're trying to say is that's your edge boost play of the day. The Generals.
Exactly.
The Generals -2. Patty C, are you back? You're a big Todd Haley guy. What are you doing here in Canton, Ohio?
Well, sure. We know what Patty's doing.
He says
one team's on a 4-game winning streak. One team's on a 4-game losing streak. Oh, and let's ride the momentum of the team on the 4-game losing streak. That makes sense, guys.
Dive in.
Patty C said they're going to build him a statue. They're going to build Todd Haley a statue in Canton one day.
I do appreciate it. Look, they got the Pittsburgh connection down in Memphis, right? Todd Haley, Carnell Lake. There is, and Pittsburgh is, if we haven't forgotten, the winningest NFL program of all time in terms of Super Bowls. So maybe Memphis is on their way to their own. Freedom Cup. I don't know. Of course I'm going with this. This is ridiculous. Actually, what's not ridiculous is an even scoring margin throughout the year. I keep bringing those stats up for Philadelphia and only a 3-point edge. So it's probably going to be a close game. 2 points.
For Philadelphia, you mean New Jersey?
For New Jersey, rather. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it probably will. But this is the ultimate game of like no like visible talent, but getting it done versus shit tons of visible talent, but not getting it done. Who's going to win that one? Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. Laletta Cheese those for look in the USFL, like $1.75 is fantastic. Laletta Cheese those for $1.75 and 2 scores.
That's a fun league.
Yes. Let's jump on over to the nightcap going on Sunday, where the Michigan Panthers head down to Birmingham. Really, there's only one home game this week, and that's the Stallions taking on the Stars. But Michigan is in Birmingham taking on the breaker 1-2s, New Orleans Breakers and McLeod Bethel Thompson. And look, I mean, this is a game where, I mean, both teams showing. I mean, look, I know they lost, New Orleans did, but they played pretty well. And we got the Breakers laying 3.5. I think it's a little steep to be more than a field goal personally. And the over under set at 43. I think you got to ride the Panthers plus the 3.5. I think it's going to be a close game. And I think anything more than a field goal either way, I would take the points. Give me the Panthers plus the 3.5. I will also take the over 43. Nick, what are you doing here?
I mean, I guess my problem is that the dogs have been hitting at an unbelievable rate. Eventually, that you would think that has to stop. But I had these two teams neck and neck, and I don't think the Breakers should be laying more than a field goal against anybody right now because they've had difficulty scoring. So I'm with you. I'm going to take the Panthers. I'm going to take the points. It's not crazy to do a money line play, but I'm going to hold off on that. Give me the points, give me Breakers money line, and give me the under.
Going the under. Patty C said all the overs this week. NC Nick saying all the unders. What's going on in Birmingham, Patty C, Sunday night?
Look, I couldn't disagree with you more. Let's take a look at what Michigan has done over the last 5 weeks. 15-point loss against New Jersey, 19-point loss against Memphis, 16-point loss against Pittsburgh, 14-point loss against Birmingham. They're the only team that routinely gets worked. They managed to squeak out a 3-point win against one of the worst teams in the league, New Jersey, last week. You guys all of a sudden think they're going to the fucking Freedom Cup.
Most balanced offense in the league.
And I think that offensive production last week from the Panthers might get some momentum going in their direction because we always said they could move the ball, they just couldn't put a point. And maybe they figured out a thing or two.
And they're undefeated on the road. The curse of Bobby Lane is real, and when you play in Detroit, you can't win. All right, but when you hit the road, you can win some games. Patty C's going.
Breakers get the much needed get right game, and I am taking the over in this one. 43.5, easy money.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's Locke. What's your number one play of the week? Nick?
Number one play of the week. It's definitely not that game. Dude, it's gotta be the Stars.
I agree. It's the Stars.
I said 2 weeks ago, I was like, I'm never betting the Stars again, or maybe 3 weeks ago, but it's been that kind of season. Give me the Stars and the points.
Yeah.
That's my lock. That's
my dog. I agree. I was already on the SGP show. I said, that's my lock is the Stars plus the 6, sprinkle some on the money line. Patty C, what's your lock of the week?
I don't dislike that Philadelphia play, even though I'm taking Birmingham. It really could be a look. That's one game that I feel like I'm flipping a coin on. I feel like, and the fact that you guys feel confident, more power to you. It makes sense based on how Philadelphia is done and how close these games normally are. That's a gigantic spread in the USFL, 6 points.
So what's your home run play? What's your
I think the home run play is gonna, you guys are gonna laugh at this one, but I do think it's New Orleans against Michigan. I think with 3-game losing streak taken into account, it's just completely counterfeit Michigan. I think that's a short memory you guys have when it needs to be a little bit longer.
Wow. Okay. Well, look, those are our locks. Now we're gonna get to our DFS plays. Patty C gave away a lineup that hit for money. I did not give away a lineup that would hit for money, but I have before. Same with NC Nick. And this is the DFS portion of the show. I like listening to this goddamn sweet ass Crocodile Dundee music. All right. All right. Let's load them up. I learned my lesson about going with Troy Williams. I will no longer roster Troy Williams as a quarterback, or I will no longer roster anyone on offense for the Pittsburgh Maulers. I am going with Alex Mago. Look, the Stars defense is opportunistic, but it gives up yardage. So I think Mago has a solid game on the ground, in the air, even though he loses. Give me Alex Mago at $12,300. Does anybody else have Alex Mago?
Right here.
There we go. It's like playing Guess Who. Remember that game? Huh? Let's go.
My guy has beautiful hair and is pretty sexy and throws for a lot of yards. Can you guess who it is?
Arm. He's got a cannon. All right. NC Nick, please tell me you went with Troy Williams at quarterback.
No. But I did go with somebody that's $3,000 cheaper than Alex Mago, and he put up the exact same 19.2 fantasy points last week. And by the way, they're playing each other this week. Case Cookus.
Oh, legend.
Dude, look, they went through a little dip there. Trust me. That the last 2 weeks, that passing game and that offense in general is starting to crank up again. Now, if you told me like week 3 to week 5 or so, I mean that they were struggling big time. But lately they are on the upswing. So I think you're getting a bargain price for Case Cookus, and the offense is getting better week in and week out. And I just told you he just put up the same amount of points as Mago, and he's $3,000 cheaper. Give me Case Cookus.
Nick, are you a fan of Northern Arizona, the Lumberjacks?
They have a great name, so yes. And I was a fan of Dan Land back in the day. Great basketball player.
No, Ross Land, right?
Him too. You can tell I was a huge fan.
Well, look, if you've gone that, what does he say in Shawshank Redemption? If you've gone that way, why don't you go a little further? Oh, you can't.
If you've gone this far, why don't you come a little bit further?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, you look for that play. It's a damn shame you can't play kickers in this league, because Aguilar would be the fucking top scorer in the league, but he was a Northern Arizona Lumberjack, much like Case Cookus. They were college teammates. People don't know that.
Okay.
So I was going to say you should roster the kicker, but I forgot that you couldn't roster a kicker. All right. That's an interesting battle. We have both our quarterbacks for the same game Saturday night.
Love it.
On NBC, or Saturday afternoon on NBC.
If my guy can come even remotely close to your guys and I'm saving $3,000, it's a win.
Well, bargain shopping. How does Mago, who's not even that like supreme of a passer in terms of yardage, generate the fantasy points that he does? Is it like efficiency? I guess not too many interceptions. 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's probably it.
Well, and
he rushes a little bit too.
He gets like a rushing touchdown every week, I feel like.
That's
he had like a 6-yard touchdown run last week. That was huge.
4 rushing touchdowns on the year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. CJ Marable never gets a touchdown, and Mago's stealing his touchdowns left and right.
Got who's the varsity blues coach? Bud Kilmer running the show over there.
We just mentioned CJ Marable. I'm still rostering CJ Marable despite the fact he doesn't get any touchdowns. He's gonna get one this week. I got a feeling. And this guy's starting to emerge. All right. It's like watching Big Bird, Grayson McCall, handing him off the ball, because this offense is starting to fly. I feel like Skip Holtz has kind of kept it. Skip Holtz is a leg up on all these other coaches. Maybe Andrus as well. Simplify the fucking game. And that's what he's done. They just do option read. Even their passing plays are out of the option read with Mago and Marable often. And I just think it's a very simple game. And you're seeing that pay off for the Birmingham Stallions. So CJ Marable at 7,700. NC Nick, did you roster CJ Marable?
Yes, I did, because I think he's at that top echelon of running back right now.
Yeah, you can keep going.
The only thing that's holding him back between Wes Hills and Mark Thompson is the lack of touchdowns. Touchdowns will come. As long as there's touches and yardage, touchdowns will come. And last 2 weeks, he's averaging 17.5 carries. He's averaging like 94 yards or so. So the touchdowns will come. And I think the matchup is right. And the price is right at only 7.7K. If you want to roster Thompson or Hills, you're paying up like $3K more. So yeah, give Give me CJ Marable, definitely.
Patty, see you on the. There we go. Nothing like giving out the same roster.
Dude, I said 3K more. It's like 5 or 6K more. It's crazy.
Value.
The price of Thompson and Hills. Look, I've been Thompson and Hills fans. I've rostered them a ton this year. They're way overpriced right now. I think you have to pivot off them.
GBO Farms said that whipped cream bikini scene in Varsity Blues. He said he tried that out one time and it didn't work for him. he put the whipped cream on it. I don't know.
I think it's supposed to be the hot girl that does that. GBO
I'm fucking with you, GBO Farms.
You don't put it on yourself.
Yeah.
When you're at a sausage fest.
Yeah. No.
Like high school football is bullshit. I tried that.
He had a girl come over to his house and he just showed up like that. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm fucking with you, GBO. Look, top wideout, and I thought NC Nick hit the nail on the head.
Whoa, hold on. I mean, does anybody have any more running backs?
Oh yeah, I have 2 more actually. My bad.
Why don't we go there first?
Look, James Colburn was a great actor. I like to think this is his son, Matt Colburn, the second. All right, at 7,300. Look, I think there's there's a reason why I played the over in Philadelphia, Birmingham. There's gonna be some fireworks down there at Penetrope Stadium. So give me Matt Colburn at 7,300. NC Nick, do you have Matthew Colburn at Penetrope Stadium?
Play the music.
We have the same fucking
Play
team.
it twice. Play it twice.
Oh my gosh. Play it against sports going on here.
Like once again, I mean, like Philadelphia, I didn't think I'd say this 2 or 3 weeks ago. They are focusing on the run now. He's getting 80 plus yardage a game, and these running backs are so much cheaper than Thompson and Hills.
Yeah.
You almost have to roster them. So at the risk of being mighty chalky here, yeah, give me Marable and Colburn.
Yeah, and I think you're right. And in terms of other teams kind of dialing in on Thompson and Hills. Yeah, Thompson doesn't generate the yards. He's a fantastic running back, and he does find ways to get in the end zone. He's hard to stop down near the goal line. But you're right. The money is just outrageous for these guys.
Yeah, you got to. So I did a third running back. You guys too?
No.
Nope. I went with 2.
Well, my third running back's a guy that I think is going to have a big week this week. His name is Reggie Corbin, Michigan Panthers running back at 7K. By the way, I left $3,300 on the table. Just left it there. You guys want some money? Come have some of my money.
Yes, send it my way.
Yeah, Reggie Corbin, 7K. I love my 3 backs of Marable, Corbin, Colburn. I think they're all going to have big games. So that is my my third running back. But who is your top price wide receiver, NC Nick?
Well, so I definitely wanted to stack Case Cookus with one of the star receivers, and why not do Corey Coleman? The guy's caught over 75 yards 2 weeks in a row. His targets are off the charts. I mean, pay up $9K for him, but I think there's gonna be a lot of points in this Philly Birmingham game. Give me Corey Coleman.
Ooh, there you go. Okay, then. Well, Patty C, what are you doing? Because the wide receiver position, interesting. I feel like the running backs I can trust more than the wideouts in this league. What are you doing, Patty C?
Well, my most expensive wide receiver is my lowest fantasy point producing wide receiver. If that tells you how stupid DraftKings is or how slow they are to adapt. My most expensive is Vinny Papali, possession receiver going against New Jersey. I don't know. He's been good for like 10 or 11 points for 3 weeks in a row. I just had to fill him in. I went with the most expensive receiver I could find that actually produced a little bit, but he's not my best receiver.
Okay, he's not your best receiver. Well, look, I NC Nick was right on this one. I just mentioned this. To me, hit the nail on the head with Johnny Dixon a week ago. Johnny Dixon is my top wide receiver at 5,400. He had a monster game last week. He's emerging. I could see the chemistry building between him and McLeod Bethel Thompson, and I think they got something going there. So at 5,400, I got Johnny Dixon. Nick, do you have him as your guy?
No, I don't. Remember, I spent a whole lot less on Case Cookus at quarterback, so I'm going to pay up for Isaiah Henney, the Pittsburgh Mauler receiver. He's been in double-digit fantasy points 4 weeks in a row. He's coming off of a kind of a quiet week just 2 for 22 and a touchdown on 6 targets. I like the fact that he's coming off of a quiet week. I think he can rebound, have a nice game. We know he's a top at least 5'10" receiver in the whole league. So I love the fact that I'm coming off of a quiet game. I think they refocus, get him the ball. He's going to be probably double-digit targets this week. I like Isaiah Henry to have a rebound week here.
Wow.
And he was about a half yard away from getting a return touchdown last week, which would have.
He's just dangerous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that was brutal because I had him on my team. And I thought I had the touchdown. On review they changed that. All right. Well, Patty C, who is your second wideout?
Well, play that music, Colby, because Johnny Dixon is mine. 11 targets in week 1, 9 in week 2. I think, did he get injured in week 3?
Yeah, he did.
He had 5 targets at that point. Obviously, 2 games without any targets because he was out. But then he comes back 5 targets and then 12 targets last week. So they're strongly bringing him back into the rotation. And he's going to generate some fantasy points. 15.7 fantasy points last week. I'll take that for 5,400. Unbelievable.
Let's go. All right. Well, look, like I said, I left 35. I said 33, $3,500 I left on the table. So my final guy besides my defense. Well, I'm taking a shot. This guy got 5 targets last week. His name is Arthur Jackson, a wide receiver for the New Jersey Generals. I thought about to go Warren Newman at 3,300, but at $3K, you get a guy.
That guy did not come through for us last week, by the way.
He did not. Didn't do it. Didn't do shit.
Yeah. He didn't do really squat.
I did see him on the field a couple plays, but yeah, they didn't throw it to him. So
was that Jim Morrow? Diddly poo.
Diddly poo.
Yeah. And then he also said, he goes, I saw people in the stands puking watching our kicking game.
Our offense couldn't do diddly poo.
But no, Arthur Jackson at Eastern Michigan. You know what? My Eagles, baby. My Eagles with Chris Creighton. 5 targets a week ago. Loletta Cheese likes going to him. I'm going to take a shot at him for $3K. Anyone else?
Nope.
Who was it? Sorry.
that pretty much Arthur Jackson's his name. All right.
I've never heard of him.
Remember it. All right. NC Nick, who's your final guy besides your defense?
All right. So my lottery ticket at 4.5K, and maybe I'm chasing, points from last week and the week before, but it one thing we've learned is that Derek Dillon get the ball in his hands. All right. Now he only has a total of 6 catches in the last 3 weeks, but the guy is electric. He can do a lot of things with the ball in his hands. So I will gladly take a low price lottery ticket on Derek Dillon for 4.5K.
Dillon, you son of a bitch, to quote the great movie Predator. Look, going with Derek Dillon, who's obviously been electric, had a 109-yard return 2 weeks ago, part of Patty C's magical Showboats run. Patty C, who's your final guy besides your defense?
Wait, is Dillon, you son of a bitch, when they give the high five?
Yes, yes.
I think that's Papali and Dillon. Every time Dillon scores, Papali needs to go up and give him the high five.
Yeah.
Dillon, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, and then Dillon goes to Papali. He's like, "What's your, the NFL got you pushing too many pencils?" Doesn't he say? Because he goes, "The CIA has you pushing too many pencils." Anyway, I don't know.
Nobody has any idea what we're talking about.
We're talking about the fine movie Predator. All right, and I'm not talking about the remake. I'm talking about the one with fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers, former Oakland Raider linebacker and BC Lion. Spent 2 years with the BC Lions in the CFL.
That's British Columbia, not before Christ.
It's not Boston
Although
College
it was almost
either.
that old.
Yeah. Patty C, who's your final guy?
I am riding him 2 weeks in a row. He's been a target rich. This is a target rich environment. Give me that. What is that? Top Gun. Come on. And they do have the top gun in the league passing to him and Alex Magoo. Trey Quinn has been targeted 7, 10, and 7 times respectively over the last 3 weeks. He puts up decent production, 200 yards receiving over the last 3 weeks. I don't know. For $6,000, I'll take it.
Okay. With that.
Okay, all right. Look, going with the targets. He's a Top Gun guy over here, going with all the targets.
Playing with the boys.
Shopping at Target. Look, when it comes to defense, I told you, Mark Thompson, You're not gonna do diddly poo this weekend. I got the Maulers at 3,800. Nick,
I agree. So I have no leftover money. So my only choices were the Panthers or the Maulers. For some reason, the Maulers are the second cheapest defense, while averaging the second most fantasy points for defenses. So I will gladly take the Maulers. I agree they can limit that passing attack and they can focus on Mark Thompson. And that's why I chose them.
I had the money to play the Gamblers who are playing the Maulers, but remember, I have the Maulers beating the Gamblers. So let's go. Patty C, who's your defense?
You know, I'm tempted to go with the Showboats, who are the highest scoring fantasy team, because I have enough money to get them. But that said, I want to lean on the Maulers just because I think and because New Jersey has one of the lowest scoring offenses. But we're going Maulers. They're going to shut down Thompson.
Let's go. They are going to shut down Thompson. And look, we need you to follow, or they're going to shut us down. No, they're not. But maybe the league gets shut down. You never know in these spring leagues. And look, give us a follow on Twitter at USFL Gambling. And the best thing you can do, subscribe, youtube.com, go or type in USFL Gambling Podcast. You'll get it right there. Also subscribe Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcast at the USFL Gambling Podcast. Subscribe, tell a friend, please. We want these leagues to work. And I think they're working. I think the USFL is clearly working. So if you can, give Patty C a follow on Twitter at PattyC831. Give NC Nick a follow on Twitter at NC__NICK. Give myself a follow on Twitter at TheColbyD. Shout out to the chat that was rocking talking United States Football League. We appreciate you, and come play DFS with us, as we mentioned before. Let us know. Hit us up on social media, and we'll extend that invite. And until next week with the reaction show, Sunday night, Monday, something like that. Until then, this is the USFL Gambling Podcast, and you better start thinking about yours. And we out of here. Run and shoot.